Very good. Let's go to the cage for our next fighter introductions.
This next bout is brought to you by Fix Law and is a kickboxing bout in the middleweight division. First, out of the Hogs red corner, please welcome Gary Rollins.
Gary Rollins out to the cage first. Gary Rollins at 0-1. He is an independent fighter out of McCrary, Kentucky. Gary Rollins in his middleweight bout at 165, weighed in at 160. And Rollins only at 19 years old. Your thoughts on Gary Rollins?
Well, you know, the independent from up there in Kentucky, a youngster, just looking to get some experience here. You know, this is a guy that's trained boxing for 3 years. He has extended his training and his experience on into kickboxing, which is good. It's a good start for combat sports, and we always talk about this when we're working with the kickboxing preliminaries. Kickboxing is a great opening for mixed martial arts competition. If you want to be an MMA fighter, my suggestion is to get your feet wet in kickboxing, and if you're gonna lose and get beat up and get hurt, do it with the headgear, with the big gloves, with the shin guards. It's a great start and a great experience for young fighters.
Gary Rollins debuted at Valor Fights 24 back in July, lost a decision to David Lewis. Tough, gritty kid, good chin, and should be a good test for Nick Overblood Martino, who will be his opponent tonight.
And just going the distance with a David Lewis, who's been around. We all know him here in the ranks of Valor, champion. Just going the distance with David Lewis says wonders.
All right, back to the cage for our next fighter introduction.
And his opponent out of the OEB blue corner, please welcome Nick Martino.
Nick Martino, the opponent for Gary Rollins. Nick making his kickboxing debut in this kickboxing bout, 3 2-minute rounds at 165. That's exactly where Nick Martino weighed in, on the spot at 165, fighting out of Combat Athletics in Mocksville, North Carolina. Overblood, tell us about him, Casey.
I'll tell you, this is his debut in kickboxing, but he's been around the block here. You know, this is a guy who has some notable wins over such competitors as Eli John Candu, Richie Ledesma, you know, and he trains under Ray Thompson, the father of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, UFC veteran, superstar, in fact. So, you know, he knows his way around the stand-up. So I look for him to come out keeping those hands low. That's a trick of the pitch black competitors, but look for him to bring those kicks high.
Nick Martino, trained by Josh Stanley, the BJJ. He's a BJJ blue belt, and you mentioned what he's accomplished in Valor. Former Valor lightweight MMA champ. He's also still ranked right now as the #5 Valor amateur for in the lightweight division, and flashy. Likes to strike. Do you think that's what we'll see from him tonight in kickboxing?
Undoubtedly. And you know what's crazy is I watched both of these competitors, like you mentioned at Valor Fights 24, Gary Rollins, he did have a very game bout against David Lewis. Nick Martino, he suffered a loss in MMA to Damir Fahabagavich later in the card, but both stood their ground. So I'm excited to see these guys compete here.
So a comparison of the two, Rollins at 0-1 in kickboxing, Nick Martino making his debut. The weight difference is 160 for Rollins, 165 for Martino. And the age difference is Martino, with that MMA experience, 7 years older than Gary Rollins. Nick Martino is in the cage, and we are ready for the official introductions. Let's go back to the cage at Jennifer Oxendine.
This bout is scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds. First, out of the Hogs red corner, he is an independent fighter from McCreary, Kentucky. He weighed in at 160 pounds with a record of 0 win and 1 defeat. Please put your hands together for Gary Rollins. And his opponent out of the OEB blue corner, he is the former Valor lightweight champ, making his kickboxing debut. He weighed in at 165 pounds and is representing Combat Athletics in Moxville, North Carolina. Put your hands together for Nick Overblood Martino. Your referee for this fight, Jimmy Neely.
Jimmy Neely, our referee here in this kickboxing bout. 3 2-minute rounds. It's a middleweight division kickboxing bout between Gary Rollins in the red trunks and Nick Overblood Martino in the black trunks. Jimmy Neely says let's go. They touch gloves, and we are underway in this kickboxing bout.
Oh, here we go. Right out of the gate, you got Overblood with the spinning back kick. Again, you see that karate style that is evident of the pitch black and upstate karate style competitors, keeping the hands kind of low, but man, so dangerous with those kicks.
And switching from orthodox to southpaw, he's gone back and forth here early on.
There is no orthodox and southpaw when it comes to the to Race Thompson's camp. He's very clear about it. They switch stance. One is as good as the other. It's all about the strategy.
Well, Martino Overblood looks comfortable there in those black trunks.
What's up?
And this fight is over.
Is it?
Jimmy Neely is.
So perhaps Rollins just waving off the fight. Maybe he caught a shot and he's hurt, or sort of hard to tell here.
Yeah, I think this is over. It is.
And it could have been he caught one of those spinning kicks, or you know he took something that was hard. It maybe it scared him.
Take a look at the replay here, Casey. See what you see.
You know what's crazy is when he quit, he actually had just finished throwing a strike himself.
And sometimes with those liver shots, right, it's a little bit of a late
Maybe.
reaction.
But here he is. He actually delivers 3 shots of his own, then turns around and walks away.
And waves it off.
I get it, but it's confusing. I mean, I get it. I believe I see what happened there. Maybe the fear consumed him a little bit. Maybe the anxiety. I don't know. He was actually holding his own in the fight, so it's disappointing.
I didn't think it was such a mismatch that he was looking for a way out because of the punishment. All right, well, to our official decision, let's go back to the cage and Jennifer Oxendine.
Your referee stops this fight at 48 seconds into the first round due to TKO for your winner out of the OEB blue corner, Nick Overblood Martino.